Hey friends, welcome back to Heavy Metal Horizons, and we are up here in Lincoln, California, and I am going to fulfill one of my aviation goals I've had for a long time, and that is to fly the classic World War II advanced training aircraft, the T-6 Texan. Now, I've seen T-6s at air shows, and I've seen a few of them up close, and of course the Condor Squadron down at Van Nuys, I see them flying around all the time, and they're just such classic, beautiful World War II era planes, especially when they're like the one here at Lincoln, when they're polished aluminum. And it's a cool airplane, and sure, I'd love to fly a cool airplane, but the big reason I want to fly this plane is this was the training aircraft that you would fly right before you went to a combat aircraft. So if you were in World War II and you flew like a P-40 or a P-51, you would train, you'd train on several different aircraft, and then you'd finally get to the T-6, and then you'd go to your combat aircraft. And someday, this is aspirational right now, but someday I would like to get into flying those classic World War II warbirds, and the T-6 is still the go-to training aircraft for those planes. So I want to get myself in the position where I can someday fly those planes, so what better way to do it than to fly the T-6? Now, obviously, I'm just doing a single lesson today, and it's going to take a lot more than that, but this is the start of the journey right here. So what's happening up here today is that Andy, the instructor here, is running a workshop. So there's, I think, 5 or 6 guys here, and we're going to do like a group ground school, and then we're all going to go individually up in the plane and do our flight lesson. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the flying now, but real quick, guys, if you enjoy videos like this, we do aviation, cars, and radio here at Heavy Metal Horizons. If you like that stuff and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and get in the air. So the T-6 Texan was the advanced training aircraft and was typically going to be the 3rd or 4th aircraft that a pilot would fly during their flight training. They'd start with the PT-17, or the Boeing Stearman. Then they would move on to the BT-13, which was a little bit more complicated, but it still had fixed landing gear. And then they would move on to the T-6, which had more power, a constant speed prop, flaps, retractable landing gear, and in some cases, guns. Now, before I flew the T-6, I talked to Andy, the instructor, about what made this aircraft such a great trainer.
Well, the airplane was designed and built specifically to train fighter pilots. So all the bad habits that all airplanes had at that point in time were built into one airframe, the T-6. So you learn how to fly. Mm-hmm. And if you're ham-fisted about it, the airplane is not very forgiving. It will bite you in a hurry.
Is it the kind of thing, I mean, I've heard people say that if you can really master the T-6, then if you fly one of like the combat aircraft, those are easy in comparison.
Right.
Is that right?
Exactly, and
okay.
that's true. Even if you want to, to get insurance on a fighter, World War II fighter, you need a minimum of 200 hours in the T-6 before the insurance company will even stop laughing at you.
So after a thorough pre-flight briefing, it was time to get the airplane started and then get in the air.
All right, so for startup, we'll go ahead and turn the battery master switch on.
Okay, battery.
Yep.
Okay.
Over here, make sure the mag switch is off.
Yep, it's off.
Mixture rich.
Mixture rich.
All the way ahead.
Okay.
And we want to have the throttle cracked open just a little bit. So all the way back.
About like right there.
Yeah, less than that. You want it
like a 1/4 inch.
Barely open, yeah. Okay. 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch, something like that.
And props full forward.
Props full forward. Now, we need fuel pressure to get the engine started. So this is your primer.
Okay.
And this is your wobble pump.
Okay.
So we need to wobble up fuel pressure, and until this light goes out, then we can prime the engine.
Okay. So back and forth here. Right?
Yep, and you just keep pumping. Now, with your right hand, unlock the primer and pull the plunger all the way out. Keep pumping. Left, just rotate it left and pull it all the way out. Okay. And then we want to get 3 full shots of prime.
Okay, so right now,
yep.
1, 2, 3.
Yep, and then
stop pumping here.
Yep.
Okay.
Push it all the way in and to the right.
Okay.
And then pull on it, make sure it's locked.
Locked.
Okay. Now the fun part is getting the engine started. So the starter's the red guarded switch.
Yep.
We're going to push it forward to spool up and engage the starter.
Okay.
With your left hand, keep your hand on the mag switch.
Okay.
We're going to count 6 blades. Once we get 6 blades, go to both, and the engine should start.
Okay. Ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey Max, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Awesome. Check. There we go.
Lincoln traffic, Charlie 8, Papa. Station final, 15, full stop, please.
Alright, so oil temperature, oil pressure looks good. Mixture's all the way ahead, propeller's all the way ahead.
Yep.
Alright, so we're going to get out of the hole here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the controls first and get this tail wheel into steering mode, then we can give you the controls back, okay?
Okay, your controls.
Alright, so I'm going to pick the brake off, stick back. I'm going to add just enough power to get the airplane moving.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get the tail wheel locked in without too much difficulty.
Yeah, I think the tail wheel was kind of swiveled around.
Yeah. So the airplane's going to go wander around a little bit. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Alright, so keep the stick back just about neutral.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you the controls. So feet off the brakes, just keep your heels on the deck and stick with the rotor pedals.
Okay.
And then we'll use just enough throttle to keep the airplane moving.
Okay.
Alright, so a little bit smaller throttle input, so just want to just bring the RPM up just a little bit.
Am I going straight ahead?
Yep, straight ahead, and then
Okay.
the four-way intersection, we're going to head right.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll see anybody on final. We got the 182 on the upwind.
Right. Okay.
So you've got the comms.
Yellow traffic,
Okay.
Columbia 9003, stand
Push them on brakes here.
What's your actual runway?
Yep, so bring the power back to idle. And we can make a radio call when you're ready.
Okay. Let's see, what are you, 2-1 Delta here?
Yep, 6.
Okay.
North American 64 Delta.
Okay. And 115, okay. Lincoln traffic, North American Texan, November 642 Delta, taking runway 15 for straight out.
Yep.
Okay. Lincoln traffic. Okay.
Alright, ready and back. Alright, so heels on the deck.
Heels on the deck, okay.
Start adding power nice and slow.
Left crosswind, runway 15.
On the right, clear on the left. Alright, so on the takeoff roll, you want to look straight ahead, use your peripheral vision to find the edge of the runway, okay?
Okay.
If you look out one side or the other, that's the direction we're going to go.
Okay.
45, we're runway 15.
Right. So,
Okay.
alright, we're all set, so go ahead and start bringing the power up.
To the northeast.
Okay. And we're going to go to what, 36?
Between 30 to 36 inches.
Okay. Here we go. So after we took off, and that takeoff was a great experience, we went out to an area where we could practice some basic maneuvers. And it was at this point that I really started to appreciate one of my favorite things about this specific airplane, and that is that it has been maintained but not modernized. So the controls, the panel, and the instruments are pretty much as they were back during the World War II era. We started with some basic maneuvers like steep turns, and then we got into power on and power off stalls with and without flaps. And that was really interesting because I found that there was a really pronounced difference between stalling the airplane in a clean configuration or dirty with flaps. To me, it seemed like when the airplane stalled with flaps, it was much more violent, almost to the point where it threw you forward in the seat. The T-6 has the nickname the Pilot Maker, and some people find the aircraft intimidating. So I asked Andy about that.
That's a really good question. And, it's just like, just because you have a driver's license doesn't mean you should be behind the wheel of a car. There's people out there that shouldn't fly 172s. There's people that shouldn't fly T6s. For the right person, It's a fabulous airplane. I wouldn't say it's terribly forgiving. It does exactly what you want it to do every single time. And if you've got the skill set and the curiosity to figure out what the airplane will do for you, it really responds well. I've got about 800 hours in T6s. I never relax on takeoff or landing, because that's when things usually go bad.
Even now,
and even doing acro, if we're up at 5,000 or 6,000 feet doing aerobatics, I don't relax then either, because if we screw it up, there's 5,000 feet gone before you know it.
Right.
It happens so fast, and you have to be on your toes. But straight level flight traveling, it's easy.
Okay.
It's all the other stuff that makes it hard.
Okay.
So after the basic maneuvers, we headed back to the airport to work on some landings.
All right, we'll leave the power at 20 inches. Okay. Now we'll just start our level off here.
All right.
Looks like 14 is our favorite runway.
All right.
So across the midfield, if you want, we can just gear down.
A little bit of left.
Yeah, a little left. And then we'll hit select gear down.
Okay, so gear out and forward. And in, okay.
All right, raise the nose a little bit.
Going
Maintain
down.
altitude. And we'll go ahead and we'll turn left for the downwind.
Okay, let's do that one. Okay,
Yep.
gears down.
Gears down and locked. And so you fly just like you fly that Jeep, nice and tight to the airport.
Right.
All right, so let's get mixture full rich.
Okay, mixture full rich.
Raise the nose a little bit. We're at flap speed. Let's go to half flaps.
Okay. 1, 2. Up there.
Right. And we're going to be wanting around 80 miles an hour on final.
And
All right.
drop forward. Or
Drop all the way
it's
forward.
all the way forward. Okay. There we go.
All right, let's bring the manifold pressure back to 17.
17. Okay. There we go.
And we'll go full flaps.
Full flaps.
Nope, the other way.
The other way. Shit. Okay. Full flaps. Don't leave that down. Okay.
And you feel that buffeting?
Yeah.
That's all drag coming off the flaps.
Wow. Okay.
All right, so 80 on the airspeed. Raise your nose a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, we're clear on the right, clear on the left. This is Marysville traffic.
Marysville traffic, North American Texan, November 6421 Delta, landing at 14, Marysville traffic.
All right, let's start back on the power just a little bit, about 15 inches. Here, just small power changes. It's just about the airplane.
Okay. That's a little fast there.
A little fast. Looks good. Back off, couple more inches of non-manifold pressure. Gears down and locked on final.
Yep, down a lot.
set nose down, fly all the way to the ground. Okay, we're gonna level off, fly toward the runway. Height the airplane, roll back on the power. That tail up as long as you can.
Okay.
That tail come down and stick back.
Stick back.
I'm gonna hit on the brakes here a bit.
Okay.
And we'll turn left on X-Way Echo, so you got the controls again.
Okay, my control. Power up.
Nope, leave the power at idle. We got plenty of momentum to carry us wherever we want to go. So we'll go left. Taxiway Bravo.
Okay.
Alright, so for shutdown, avionics first, and then pull the mixture all the way back.
Okay, avionics.
All right, and then mags and master.
Mags off, master off.
Whew.
So what could I have done differently on that landing there? I mean, I came in a little fast to begin with.
A little on the fast side. No, keep the tail up a little more.
Okay.
Once we touch down, just use that stick head and stick the mains.
Okay guys, this was a great experience. I hope I can do it again sooner than later. Obviously it'll take more than one flight to get proficient at that airplane. There were a lot of things that surprised me about it, like the stalls. There was a huge difference between the stall with or without flaps. With flaps, it was almost kind of violent actually, almost kind of threw you forward, which was surprising. As far as the controllability of the plane, that was actually very pleasant. It was a very responsive aircraft and kind of predictable, which was really nice. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions about this stuff, please leave them in the comment section below. Thanks a ton for watching. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.